want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and we want to start off with saying the Republican Creed.
You want to say an invocation first?
You want to?
I'm glad to.
Okay.
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen. Dear Lord, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you for everybody that's come here to support the Marlboro County Republican Party. We ask our blessings from not only us here gathered, we ask the blessings from those in our state and our national party. God's good to us. We need to grow this party. Help us to do so here in the county. These things we ask in that most holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Republican Creed.
choose to be a common man. It is
My right to be uncommon. If I seek opportunity, not security, I want to take the calculated risk to dream and build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to resent it for I prefer the challenges of life to guarantee security, the thrill of fulfillment to the stale calm of utopia. I will not trade freedom for benevolence. I will not thee for a handout. I will not cower before any lesser save my God. It is my heritage to stand erect, proud, and unafraid, to think and act for myself, enjoy the benefits of my creation, to face the whole world boldly, say, I am a free American.
Bert asked me, he said, to just talk a little bit about what happened this past month at our meeting, at our state meeting. And to be very honest with you, the third quarter meeting, and I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now, is really always very light duty. Not a whole lot of business is conducted at that third quarter meeting. And our next meeting is September the 6th, I believe. But anyway,
Our next meeting? Your
no,
next meeting?
the next South Carolina Executive Committee meeting. Like I said, there was not a whole lot of business conducted. There was absolutely no news. But the biggest portion of contention within the state party right now is the fact that, and granted, I didn't go to the I didn't go to the convention because I had a family commitment, but be as it may, what happened at the Credentials Committee, the Pickens County delegation was not allowed to vote. They were not even allowed in the convention. And the reason for it was during their reorganization for the county and what have you, I was led to believe that they had the venue where they had it only would accommodate about 400 people. Well, I was told when we said there was 1,000 people wanted to go to the convention. That was untrue. I mean, I listened to something last night online from the chairman of the Pickens County Party, and I'll be honest with you, we on the executive committee had some bad information. But Pickens County was not even represented at the state convention. And that's created a lot of ill feelings, and I'll leave it at that. But they're given the opportunity to reorganize and come back into the state party, and I'm sure that'll happen. That'll happen between now and September. So, but one of the other things that happened at a meeting was the fact that Chairman McKissick, he's talking about said raise money, communicate the GOP mission, and identify, train, organize, recruit, and elect Republicans. And along with that, at the county level, is to try to grow our membership. all of us need to be talking to your friends and neighbors, telling them about the county party, and try to encourage them to attend. I know I call 10 or 15 people every time we have one of these meetings, and I don't think any of them ever come, but I bug them. But we all should be doing the same thing for every meeting. The other things, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Elephant Club. Any of y'all familiar with it? That's the state party club. It's not a whole lot of money. It's $15 for bronze. It's $15 monthly, $180 a year. Silver, $30 monthly, or $360. Gold, and there's a gala area, different things in the state party if you're interested to participate. But of course, at the meeting, we go through the agenda, and we hear from the South Carolina executive, or people from South Carolina. There's 2 people there that are members of the National Republican Party, and they usually give a little brief talk about what's going on. All of these meetings deal with money. You get budget reports, how much money the party's making, how much they're bringing in, how much they're expending, stuff like that. Of course, politics is all about money. You haven't figured that out yet. It's all about raising money, encouraging people to run for office.
Hey, it takes money
It takes money.
to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just read this to you. The national committeeman is a fellow from Rock Hill, a fellow by the name of Glenn McCall. He's very nice, very intelligent man. He talked about what's going on at the national level. I don't know how frequently they meet, but he's also the finance committee report said the South Carolina GOP is in good shape with positive cash flow. I don't know how many of y'all, but I get something in the mail just about, not every week, but a couple of times every month from the state party, you know, telling you about what they want is money. Once you commit money to them. So,
Yeah, it sounded like it.
Hey, Barbara.
But, the other thing that came out of our meeting, and like I said, it was a really very short meeting there. Of course, the resolutions committee at the state level, they feel resolutions that are worthy, and we had 3 presented this particular part of the meeting. One of them, and I kind of laugh about this because it said this happened, resolution after the fallout between Mr. Trump and Mr. Elon Musk. One of the resolutions was a resolution of the South Carolina Republican Party expressing appreciation for Elon Musk. I kind of had a laugh about that, but they did. They approved it. Another one was a resolution of the South Carolina Republican Party expressing opposition to legalize casino gambling and the establishment of a state gaming commission. Greatly oppose that. The resolution was approved, but gambling in the state of South Carolina is not there yet. And the final one they had here said a resolution of the South Carolina Republican Party in support of enhanced protection for residents of residential care facilities. So
That does need to be read.
So that's short and brief. Like I said, our meetings usually start at 10 o'clock, and usually sometimes I've been to some of those meetings where we went to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Thank God for that. This one was over after an hour and a half, so we adjourned about 11:30. Just came on back home. Anyway, that's short and sweet about what's happening on at the state level. Like I said, me personally, I think the biggest thing that we need to do here in the county to get more people interested in how to do that right now. I encourage everybody to talk to your friends and neighbors to try to give them time. That's all I got. Any questions, anything from me?
I don't. Anybody else?
I have a couple updates.
Okay, we'd love to hear. Come on up here.
And I don't need to come up there. They can hear me better down here.
Okay.
We have a website. We also have a Facebook page. We have a YouTube channel now. So the Republicans in the area that missed tonight's meeting will be able to go on the YouTube channel and catch everything in the meeting. That's why William is filming now. So they can take it that way. And to encourage new membership, we have a men's club that is meeting, and I checked the Facebook page.
Second Tuesday.
The third,
Second Tuesday is the men's club.
Second Tuesday. The ladies' club will meet on the first Tuesday, I know that. And that's going to be, excuse me, during the day. So you don't have to worry about going out at night. And then we have our meeting here the third Wednesday. And then the fourth Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday. The fourth Tuesday is the Young Republicans. So, you know, they're a different world than we are. And they'll do a lot of meetups in coffee shops, etc. But I think we need some, you know, fresh blood.
What day is that on for the young?
That's the fourth Tuesday.
Fourth Tuesday.
So every Tuesday, the Republicans are out there. Now, I think one of the strongest things we have is a quote, "I didn't leave the Democrat Party, the Democrat Party left me." And when you look at how much it's changed, I know some good Democrats, and the stuff they're pushing nowadays is nothing like the people I know. And so maybe we should say, hey, have you looked at your party lately? Do you see what they're pushing? And don't attack them, but just show them the difference. And we've had, believe it or not, a lot of interest from the black community. And I was in Washington last week, and I said to one of the the senator's staff member, what do we have to do to get Tim Scott out here? He, I think, would be a powerful voice for our black community. I mean, it's just, but also shame on us. We have election in Tatum. Who do we have running? It's coming up in what, 2 weeks? Is it 2 weeks?
What election is that?
Tatum Council.
There's a special election in Tatum.
Oh, okay, I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we have to get Republicans to get out there. We have Bennettsville coming up, 3 seats, and that's a mess.
What 3 seats?
You got to understand too that those are nonpartisan elections.
That's okay.
Yeah, they're nonpartisan. Anybody, regardless if you're a Democrat or Republican or independent, you can run for those offices. But you're right. We do want people that are
Share our values.
Share our values to run for those offices, and we want people like I've written several things on my Facebook page recently about what that debacle that's happening with our school board right now, and the same thing with the county. I mean, with the city of Bennettsville. Matter of fact, I sent a Freedom of Information Act on the 30th of May to the Marlboro County Board of Education, and I've yet to hear anything from it.
I'm shocked.
And by law, they're required to respond within 10 business days.
Right.
And I'm planning on going up there one day this week, as a matter of fact, and knock on their door and say, could I please speak to your public information officer, or whomever handles FOIA requests, and just confront them. And if I don't get a satisfactory answer, what I'm going to do is simply, I'm going to file a complaint with the South Carolina Attorney General's office, because they're in violation of Title 30 of the South Carolina Code. But they don't care. They really, those people that are in the school board, right, with the exception of Pruitt girl and probably Danny Driggers, they could care less.
Well,
And none of them have any experience in running a business. That's my biggest gripe. They can't run a business, and the school board is a business.
no, it's a charity. I mean,
Well,
most
it's
of
a business.
Bennettsville is a charity.
It's a business, because
Yeah.
they're spending your tax dollars. They're supposedly
Exactly.
spending your tax dollars to educate our children and our grandchildren and what have you, and they're doing a very poor job of it. I mean, the woman who's the superintendent, I mean, I condemn every member of that board, because every one of them, all 8 of them, voted to give her this last pay raise. She should never have been hired in the first place.
Well,
I mean,
didn't they pay her to leave last time?
they bought out her contract. She got fired, terminated, and the only reason she came back, and I talked to one of the board members who told me about it, were interviewing 2 people for that position of superintendent, and due to a scheduling conflict or something, only one of them showed up for the interview, and apparently nobody liked that person on the board, and this Dr. Ripon McLeod, who sits on the board,
Right.
he apparently is a good friend of Mrs. Tiller, so he stood up and said, I know somebody that we can hire, and he was the impetus about bringing her back and hiring her for that position.
He should have been the least one to listen to.
As far as I'm concerned, it's a pathetic situation.
Well, does anybody know a lady named
Laura Johnson.
Laura Johnson?
No, I don't know Laura Johnson. There's a meeting tomorrow night of
Laura Johnson. Tell them about Laura Johnson.
So I'm gonna end up doing a whole video on this to break it down for everybody here. But long story short, Laura Johnson was hired on when Wenda Weaver was the mayor of Bennettsville. She replaced the CFO
who knows you?
when.
Maybe you need to pull the thing away from your mouth, because you're probably going to kill everybody with your voice.
Yeah. So she was brought on with the previous mayor before Mayor Fowler. When
That
the
was what was the lady, the black lady who was
Weaver,
out there?
right?
Was that her assistant?
No, she was the chief the chief financial officer resigned. They brought
Prince.
Yeah,
Prince was
yeah.
the former mayor.
they brought Laura Johnson on to act as a financial consultant at $150 an hour with 50-hour work weeks.
Oh, yeah, that's that new administrator.
Right. So she had a contract that went up in May of 2024. On May 21st, 2024, the contract was renewed at the same price, again, 50 hours a week. So the problem is that no one's seen this woman. No one knows how she was recommended. No one knows who brought her in. Simon Williams, councilman, was one of the people who says that, oh, I brought her in through the municipal association. I reached out to him. Never recommended anybody to the city of Bennettsville for any position.
Jody Ball is investigating.
Right. So the thing is that her company, JCS Consulting LLC, was filed in the state of South Carolina May 24th, 2024, 3 days after the contract was given to her. And what has she done? We're paying, I think it was like up to $138,000 a year for our city that's broke. We can barely get anything done, and yet we're paying $138,000 for somebody that no one knows.
That's in line with Mr. Simon. Mr. Simon,
exactly.
as far as I'm concerned, is crooked as a snake. Matter of fact, I blame the city council for hiring him in the first place because the city council doesn't have guts enough to make him honor his employment contract. I mean, he's been here almost 2 years, and he's been living in Columbia and commuting back and forth. He just recently took an apartment in Bennettsville, but there's a couple of ladies who've been following that guy around. And they say Friday afternoon, boom, he's in that black Tahoe headed to Columbia. Now, my concerns are, and I sent an email to every one of the city councils and our mayor asking him, is he reimbursing the county or the city for his travel expenses? And not a one of them has guts enough to answer that question.
Can we?
And I told every one of them, in that email I sent them, I said, you're not honoring your oath of your office because you agreed to abide by United States Constitution of the State of South Carolina, ordinances of the City of Bennettsville, and contracts. Every one of them is in violation of that.
Well, are those owned or leased vehicles?
Huh?
Are those owned or leased vehicles?
That's a leased vehicle.
Come on, how many miles is he racking up on that?
Well,
Oh, way too many.
Oh, yeah.
He puts at least 200 miles on commuting back and forth from
Up
Bennettsville
until
to
a month
Columbia.
ago.
I want to know, and I may do another Freedom of Information Act to the Board of Elections. I want to know, is he registered? His contract says he has to live here in Bennettsville and vote in Bennettsville. I want to know, is he registered to vote in Marlboro County? And two, what address is on his driver's license?
And also,
Where does he live now?
He lives in Columbia.
but he's renting
He's
a
got an
place
apartment
in
down there
Bennettsville.
behind the Methodist church. He's got an apartment in one of those things.
Oh, you
And
know
if
they
he is
live
registered
there.
in Marlboro County, when he registered in Marlboro County is another thing we need to
I don't
find
know.
out.
I don't know. I don't know
When
if
you're
it's public.
asking, that's.
Matter of fact, I'm
I'm
going to
gonna
ask
be
somebody
involved.
this week, is it public information about, can you go in there and ask, is so-and-so registered to vote in Marlboro County? I don't know.
It is public information.
We have the voting.
Yeah, everything's supposed to be
But
transparent.
can a citizen go in there and ask, is so-and-so,
Yes.
so-and-so, is he registered to vote in
They
Marlboro
won't-
County?
They won't give you to you, they're gonna refer you to, SC votes. And as long as you have, you're registered
Oh, yeah.
and you can give the proper documentation, you can pull it. In fact, I haven't printed it. I can tell you, I go home and check
I mean,
it.
of your own information, yeah. But
No,
can you
No,
ask-
no,
on
we
this.
have the
I have the
voter.
entire, every
Okay, well,
registered
I'm just,
voter in the county.
I think I probably know the answer to it, but, what
I
really
think you're
burns
right.
me up is the mayor and the city council, they want to honor their oath. And I know the current mayor and Mr. Simon are good buddies. They're real tight. I know that for a fact. But those other members of the city council, I find it a pathetic situation.
Well, that's why we need to put, regardless, we need Republican, conservative minds in Bennettsville and everywhere if we want to change.
We need to fundraise too and make sure that we can help candidates get in the office.
Right.
If they want to run, make sure that, that they've got the money to run. And the campaign to back them also for literature and signs. I mean, it takes a lot of money for those signs.
Well, once again, if we could get the signs in bulk, if we can get together and, William needs signs because he's running and you need signs because you're running, we can buy them when the price drops down significantly to bulk it. When I was in Washington, I stopped by, I think it was Russell Fry's office. And this little thing right here, the crushed pins, I dropped some off to the staff. And this guy says to me, "Where did you find those? I've been looking for them." I said, "I'll send it to you, the link." Anyway, but these, we're going to have these, the Republican Women's Club will be selling this stuff to raise money to get these, help these Republicans run.
Right.
Because this is expensive, you know, just getting. Anyway.
It is, and to build a party is expensive too.
Right.
And, matter of fact, we need to be taking up dues tonight, you know, or starting, you know, telling
They said we can't. We're going to do it next week.
Bird said we'll start, hopefully we'll get a bigger attendance. We'll start taking dues, and he's gonna have, at our July meeting, he's gonna have a speaker, and he'll also have some food and what have you, and hopefully we'll get a better turnout.
Miss Connie's not here either, she's sick.
Yeah. She was here, but she left.
was here earlier, she left. She's just not feeling well.
I talked to Mr. Emmett before I came, that's how I knew, you know, you were here. I don't get on Facebook like I
telling you,
should, I guess.
I'm so aggravated with the city government right here. I wanted to know something about my electrical power. Why I'm paying more here in Bennettsville than I was paying in the state of Maryland for electrical power. And I've always asked the question. I know that we buy the power through Marlboro Pee Dee Electric Cooperative. And I wanted to know, is there a contract in place? And yes, there is, and you signed it. Yeah, in place. That's all I was asking for. And I wanted to question, why are we buying it from MPD instead of buying it directly from Santee, where MPD gets it? I just had a big question about it, and I took a Freedom of Information letter. I wrote out the things I wanted on there, and I took it down to the utility department, and I asked Sam Sparkman about it, and he said, "I can't answer this." And he said, "It'll have to go to Mr. Simon." I said, "I just want an answer." And again, the law, Freedom of Information law, requires the government you're asking from, it gives them 10 business days to provide an answer. And it's said in black and white, Title 30.
Non-profit.
They're trying to, it's a part of support for the city of Bennettsville, the utility department. Now, they're spending a lot of money now. We didn't spend this kind of money. So I don't know really.
What are they spending it on?
Salaries.
Salaries?
Yeah,
Look at
big
the
salaries.
Yeah, big salaries.
Big salaries.
Let
The
me,
city, the county, and the school district,
Yeah.
they're all of their salaries. If you look through all this stuff, oh my gosh.
For those of you that don't know it, Bill Fleming is the president out there. He makes over $1 million a year. I find that for a little county like Marlboro County, I find it sinful. But anyway,
well,
he
they,
doesn't like me
now
very well because I've
president.
asked him some pretty pointed questions as well.
He makes
But going back to the city of Bennettsville, I filed a FOIA report and I was waiting for a response back, and the 10 days came and went. And actually, about 20 days came and went. So I said, well, let me ask somebody else. So I sent an email to Wanda Weaver, and I told her, Wanda, I said, and I sent her a copy of the FOIA, and I said, why are they not answering that? I said, if I don't get an answer from it, I'm going to file a formal complaint with the Attorney General's office. Guess what? I got a response 2 days later. Sam Sparkman called me up and said, Mr. Chapelier, I have your response for your FOIA.
And how much was it?
Huh?
How much was it?
I don't remember the exact numbers, but there's an agreement, a signed agreement with the city of Bennettsville and Marlboro Pee Dee. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I've learned a lot about it. But,
So they give you something in writing?
huh?
They give you something in writing?
Oh yeah, I got something right. Yeah, I got a copy of the contract.
Can I get a copy? Can I get a copy?
Sure.
Please, thank you.
I can send you everything they sent me.
I'll take it all.
Okay, all right. So, and don't ask me why, but and I think Dex hit the nail on the head right there. Or salaries, that's the biggest problem. I mean, they have a board of trustees, a board of what they call them, board of directors, the Marlboro Pee Dee Electric Cooperative, and those guys, they meet once a month for about an hour, and you know what they're paid for that? And I have
Probably around
three very good friends.
$75,000 a year.
$50-something thousand, $51,000. I mean, Ronnie Quick sits on the board, and I rag his butt all the time about it. And,
On the board that make
$51,000 a year. Yeah.
Everybody wants to be on that.
But it's a clique. You can't get on it. It's a real tight clique. I know that Van Edwards wanted to be on it, and they wouldn't let him even put his name on it because he was, quote, a competitor. So Van's got an interesting story about that. He's got no use for any of them to sit on that board, but the girl who's the chief financial officer there lives on Lakeshore Drive. I can't
It's
remember
about
her name right now.
$400,000.
She makes almost
Y'all have
$400,000
the
a year.
names of
Oh,
people
I
that sit
know
on
her
the
name,
board?
you know who that is.
You know who that is?
I'm sure I do, but I don't
She
know
was
the
married
name.
to a
Lynn
young
Good
fellow
with,
from,
Huh?
Lynn Good with Duke Energy makes
Clio.
21.35 million.
Oh, yeah, big money, but,
It's all
Duke
public
Energy.
information, their salaries are.
I wrote a letter to the editor a couple of years ago after a year, and I got a copy of the IRS document that they file with their taxes, and it had all their salaries on there. And I wrote a letter to the editor and published all that information, and I sent it to at the time Dan McNeil, who was running the Marlboro Electric or the Marlboro Herald Advocate, and he told me, he said, Jim, he says, I've got to run this by my legal counsel before I publish it. And he called me back the next day and said, I ran it by, he said, publish it. So he put it, and I just made this information available to the public. And I had more people say, you got to be kidding me, they make that kind of money? I said, yeah, they do. But you're paying for it in your electrical rates.
You know, it's funny, we drove by there the other day and just the brick fence, to me,
Well, they're not even using that building anymore. Yeah. They operate out of the Darlington County building. The only thing they've got in that building down there, you go down there and pay your electrical bill. Maybe 2 or 3 people working in there.
They still do have somebody working
They
there.
do have some, some repairmen.
Yeah,
And repairs
the
now.
linemen and stuff like that. It's kind of a depot for them to get supplies and transformers and stuff like that. But it's used a lot for that. But, I call it the Taj Mahal of Marlboro County. A lot of corruption in this county right now. So, there is a meeting of interested citizens tomorrow night at the Brew and Bake on Gerald Street. I think it's 6 o'clock by some people that are, some ladies that I know of.
I'll be there.
Yeah, that are going to be there. And they're talking about what I've been talking about for the last 3 or 4 minutes. About life here in the county. Huh?
Who's in charge?
I can't think of the names, the lady's name.
Janelle,
It's,
I mean, since it's at Brew and Bake, I would think Janelle would have something to do with it.
Yeah, but I'm gonna attend tomorrow night. I don't know if,
I've been seeing things,
yeah.
still talking about it, but
Yeah.
not an official date and
I mean,
time,
people
place. So
in the
that's-
county here are really fed up right now with what's going on in the county, what's going on in the city, what's going on with the Board of Education. A lot of discontent. And I'm all for that discontent. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's time for some heads to roll around here. Or at least people that are concerned citizens to get out and vote some of these people out of office and put people in there who will spend your money properly.
There's no better time than taking a couple of this.
Exactly. You got anything else?
No? I don't have anything else.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn then.
Second.
Second.
We're done.
Alrighty.
Our next meeting